What's up, everyone? This is the first Untamed Talk Q&A where I answer your questions from Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I saw some of the questions and they're pretty good, so I'm excited to do this. I'm also going to be lifting today. I'm doing snatch and clean and jerk. I'm training for an Olympic weightlifting meet December 19th in San Francisco, California. So that's what I'll be doing today while I'm answering your questions. On the camera, we got the one and only John Punch Nugget Mead. John, go ahead and say hi. He'll be reading the questions and I'll be dealing out the answers. Before I get started, any of you guys with some back pain, I would highly suggest getting some of these gravity boots. They're money. I use these things before I train every day and after I train. All those squats, deadlifts, sitting, my spine just gets really, really compressed. And this kind of puts me back into alignment and really breathes life back into my back. So I highly suggest trying it.
All right, Alan, so this question comes from YouTube from Eric Hauser. What are your thoughts on the current trend of men wearing tights, leggings to the gym?
I don't care. I don't care what you wear. You know, I could judge someone for the silly stuff they wear, but I'm sure they would look at what I wear and say, oh my gosh, he has holes in his armpits and holes in the crotch of his shorts. So it's whatever, man. I guess if it makes you feel good and it gets you into the gym, I guess it works. I don't care, whatever the hell you want.
All right, we got this question from I'm Rand Hussein 24/7. I don't think I've seen any videos on accessory exercises in order to increase my bench, squat, and deadlift. Can you give us your top 3 exercises for each?
I just made an article on the website about my top 3 exercises, assistance exercises for squats. I said pause squats, which is not really an assistance exercise, more variation, but next barbell lunges and good mornings. You can check that article out on the website if you want to know more about it. For the bench press, I really think that your overhead press strength, as it goes up, your bench press strength will go up. So that would be an assistance. Dips, definitely, and heavy pause dumbbell bench press. And then for deadlifts, I'm a huge fan of using variations of the deadlift to better your deadlift from the floor. So block pulls, deficit deadlifts, but something other than deadlifts, I would say paused front squats because it really puts a lot of stress on your quads, which is really important for the bottom part of the deadlift. Let's see, low bar squatting will help your deadlift because it's a very similar position. I really like kettlebell swings just to get some glute activation. So, and I would say heavy barbell rows, like Yates rows, to where you're just right at the knee, using a little bit of body English to swing, and it really, really will overload and strengthen the top of your deadlift.
All right, this next one comes from Sergio T. Your vision on supplements for a true beginner, especially creatine. Thanks.
As a true beginner, you don't need supplements. I don't think anybody needs supplements. You need to eat a lot of food, drink a lot of milk if your stomach can handle it. Your training needs to be spot on. You need to get a lot of sleep, and you're good. Training supplements aren't gonna do anything for you, but creatine, yeah, creatine works. I don't think you need it. I would never ever look at a beginner and say, wait a second, you're not taking protein supplements? What are you doing? If you want to buy it, if you have the money to buy it, yeah, go for it. But no, I don't think you need it.
Kivo ASJ, Keo, do you do cleans?
Yes, I do cleans. Do cleans every single day. I'm training for an Olympic weightlifting meet, like I said, in December. So yeah, I'm doing a whole hell of a lot of cleans. But before I was training for this Olympic lifting meet, doing strongman and powerlifting, yeah, I was still doing cleans. I like to do it from the floor, power cleans for power development, and then I really like to do hang cleans for upper back and grip strengthening, assistance exercise. So hang cleans and power cleans I do regularly for powerlifting and strongman.
Andy's Gym says, I like to participate in a meet. What kind of set rep range did you use to warm up for your 3 lifts?
Powerlifting meet, I always start with the bar for 10 reps. And then at a powerlifting meet, I don't want to exhaust myself with a whole bunch of reps warming up. So really I have to play it by feel. I'll do a set of 5. If I feel like I'm greasing the groove, if I feel loose and it feels good, I'll cut it down to 3s. If I feel good from there, I'll go down to singles. If I do a set of 3 and it's really not feeling very good yet, I'll bump the weight up slightly, do another set of 3 until it feels good enough. But I would say once I get to 60% of my max, I'm just doing singles all the way up until my opener, because you don't want to exhaust yourself by doing a bunch of reps beforehand.
All right, this question comes from Devlin B. Alan, as a fellow bearded man, my question is, what is your beard care routine?
I don't have one. I shampoo it, I condition it, and I comb it. That's it. I don't put a bunch of bullshit in it, oil or whatever. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Jose Antonio Martinez wants to know, which is your best advice to improve squatting?
Squat more often. Get as used to the position as you can. That doesn't mean max out every day or go heavy every day, but start squatting more often, whether that's more times a week, whether that's more sets or more reps. Just do more squatting, really get comfortable with the position. Doing 3 sets of 5 a couple times a week might not be enough. So really become a student of squatting, really learn it, understand it, learn how to feel the squat. So that takes time under a barbell.
All right, Cepidus wants to know about a program that would help him in long-term strength gains.
Long term, definitely 5-3-1. Jim Wendler's 5-3-1. You can find it on T Nation. Jim Wendler 5-3-1. In the description, he says, "I'm sick and tired of these bullshit 6-week strength gain programs." He says, "I don't want to know where I'll be in 6 weeks. I plan on lifting for the rest of my life. I want to know where I'm going to be next year. I want to know where I'll be in 5 years." So 5-3-1 for long-term strength gains, definitely.
Danchik K, is there anything you can do to get bigger, thicker hands and wrists?
Heavy deadlifts, farmer's walks, any type of weighted carry where you're using your grip, pull-ups. But as far as thicker hands and wrists, that's kind of dependent on your bone structure. Greg Nuckols actually wrote a Facebook post recently about how your adolescent years as a child, as a teenager, are your most catabolic times of life, or I'm sorry, your most anabolic times of life for muscle and for bone. So I think that as a child, lifting weights or getting used to hard manual labor with your hands, I think can change your bone density as well as have an effect on the thickness and size of your bones. I don't think it's going to do anything to make your fingers longer, but as far as thick hands and wrists, I think it really depends on what you did as a child. If you're 35 years old with skinny wrists and long skinny fingers, I don't think there's a whole lot you can do, but there are muscles in your hands, so any type of weighted grip I think can give you a little bit better meat hooks. I'm going to be answering a lot of questions over in this area of the gym, maybe even outside, because it's getting kind of loud in here, so this probably wasn't the best idea to do it on a Saturday morning, but we will push through and we will continue. So next question.
All right, so Abhishek Ramdas, hey Alan, can you talk about training periodization?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what you want me to talk about, but I will say that in the beginning, as a novice trainee, everything can be completely linear, so you can increase weight each time. You can continue making those gains every single training session, every single week, but eventually, as you become a little closer to intermediate, you cannot continue to just go straight up. You have to, any good intermediate program that you see, there will be some type of starting here, ramping up, cutting it back and starting a little bit higher, ramping up and finishing higher than you did last time. Cutting it back, ramping it up and finishing higher. So you're slowly increasing. Whether that increase occurs weekly whether it occurs monthly or in waves and cycles. That all varies, but that principle applies to intermediate trainees. So let me explain what I'm talking about. At first, you can go one step at a time and continue increasing. Eventually, as you become a little more intermediate, you're gonna have to take 3 steps forward and take 2 steps back. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Slowly making progress. So an example of what I'm trying to show you with the stair analogy would be 5-3-1. I talked about it earlier. If you look at the percentages of 5-3-1, those waves move in a 1 month phase. So you'll do 65%, 75%, 85%. Cut it back, 70%, 80%, 90%. Cut it back, 85%, 90%, 95%. So you're working that 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back kind of deal. So.
Flavor Bob, here's what I want to know. How did the whole idea of saying train untamed the way you do come about? That's the coolest thing ever.
Flavor Bob, I actually really like watching any video you post on Facebook. I don't do a whole lot of Facebook scrolling, but if I do see your videos, I love watching it. I think your accent's awesome. So it's funny that you ask, about me talking. Okay, so train untamed, the way that I say it comes from kind of mimicking a Marine Corps drill instructor. When I was in the Marine Corps, we used to pretend to be drill instructors and make the drill instructor voice. Marine Corps drill instructors have very menacing, kind of froggy voices when they yell, and we would try to mimic that. So it was kind of like, hello you, hello recruit, and they would talk like that. Forward, punch, hit left, right, all right. So anyways, that's how they talk, some of them. So it kind of came from that as we were messing around. It was kind of a train untamed. It was kind of how it started, but then I kind of brought it down a little bit deeper to train untamed with a little bit of a growl. But so yeah, it's a Marine Corps drill instructor is kind of what I'm copying. So here you go.